Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Sheila, Juanita. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Hey, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Let me hook up my mic. That way we can get started. I still gotta make my coffee. Welcome in, Max, Michael, Princess Piper. Hope everybody had a good Saturday. So tonight's reading is going to be a little bit of a channeling. As well as a collective clarifier. Please take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If tonight's reading is not your reading, that's okay. If you want to still hang out and listen to this message, then great. If not, that's okay too. No biggie. It turns out my warrior message a couple days ago got me shadow banned again. My views have been less than stellar the last couple days. Story of my life. Welcome in, Jack. So I'm just taking a moment to tap in. Great Spirit, guides, guards, protectors, angels, ancestors, divine light. Please be here to join me in this channeling, to bring messages to my collective of things they need to know. Please protect me during this channeling and let any ill will be sent back to sender automatically and indefinitely bound to them. Let only good enter in. Whoever this message is for, I'm really kind of getting Tomb Raider vibes. You're going to find something you thought you lost. This could be in a form of knowledge, wisdom. It could be an item. But more so, I believe that it's something about yourself that you've forgotten. For those that have been doing the work, and for those that have been digging deep into their subconscious, doing the work to rip out the roots rather than chopping the plant. This message is for you. This message is going for the chosen, the star seeds, the earth angels, and the light workers. For those of you that have been questioning your current status quo, your current environment, wondering why things don't make sense, you've been stuck, you've been in a lull, some of you feel trapped. You've been put into a nesting period, a healing period. This time has been given to you to recuperate what you've lost within your self-confidence and self-love. A lot of you have been dwelling and getting distracted by your environment. And this message is to say that you need to let it go. You are more than just your body. You are a soul. You are a spirit. You've been brought to this time and place within the grains of sands of each moment to behold and to witness a changing, a death, and a rebirth of many nations. Hidden deep within you is the map you've been searching for outside of yourself. Hidden deep within you, within your roots of your spirit, are the answers that you seek. And you've been given this time to go within and go deep to find the answers to the many subconscious questions you've been curious about and wondering. A lot of you, if you are not, you could very well be bored with meditation. And the reason for this is because you've come to understand meditation as boring, as insignificant, and almost an irritant due to your surrounding environment. It's been very frustrating for you to find the silence and find the moments, those sacred moments of reflection due to the noise around you. You are being called to look at meditation in a different way. It is not to clear your head, but to dive deep into your consciousness, into your thoughts, into your deepest parts of your mind and your soul. find that what is missing and that what you are lacking. However, it is not a form of lack. It is more of a form of remembering. To be initiated on earth as an earth angel or starseed or chosen, you are an old soul that have lived many lifetimes, not only here on earth, but in different densities, in different star systems. It is the ability to go deep within your soul and your spirit, to find and recollect of what that means to you. In order to do this, you need to dismiss and let go of your worldly distractions outside of yourself and simply be in the energy that you are, and the energy that you radiate outward from yourself. To be in the silence is not to bore you. It is to remove the distractions and concentrate on your own energy, your own frequency. This isolation is not a punishment. It is a rising of your spirit. It is a remembering of your soul activation beyond time, beyond space, and beyond this physical world. It is to recognize and affirm your purpose, your contract, your evolution of who you were always meant to be. Due to the past lifetimes that you've lived here on Earth and previous star systems, you've been brought to this place and time to remember. Not only to remember who you are, but also to remember why you're here. What might look like Armageddon or the end times, it is simply a rebirth of the planet. Just as you are reborn in a new body with a new spirit, the earth is shedding her old skin. The earth is shedding the old version of the third density, evolving into a fourth and fifth density being. Through the last decade, since 2012, the earth has been going through a transition, an awakening, and a revealing, and a thinning of the veil. The veil of deception the veil of control, the veil of greed is dissipating. Although it's looking chaotic, although it's looking defeating, this is but an illusion to the true meaning of why we are here. It is a releasing of the old and a rebirth into a new density and a new earth. What we know as aliens is false. It is different energetic densities that have come here to help the rebirth. We are born in the physical to be the initiators of this awakening. And where you feel that you've been going through chaos and turmoil, this is the raising of the veil and a releasing of the old. The dark forces have been scrambling, trying to continue to keep control of the planet, and they are failing miserably. They are losing their reign of control and deception. Just as the sands within an hourglass represents each moment throughout time, and as they are settled in the bottom of the hourglass, it represents the current status and current time and current moment. Since the start of the awakening in 2012, there has been a shift within the equator, within the essence of time and space, within the essence of weather and temperature and environment. What we know as global warming and the freezing and melting of our planet is that hourglass. It is a natural occurrence that marks each and every single moment of experience here on Earth. It is not a calamity. It is not destruction. It is not the end of the world. Armageddon, the end of days, is but an illusional control to instill fear within your heart, to prevent you from raising your frequency to your light body frequency. This is something you need to let go of in order to raise your frequency to a place and time of remembrance. The more we raise our frequency, the more the veil will thin, and the more density, energy will collapse. Our overall collective energy matters, and this is why they try to dim you through pain, through fear, through scarcity, and you need to remove it from your thought process in order to access the higher frequencies. We are beacons of light, for we have the divine within each and every single one of us. Mother Gaia is screaming for your help, because the darker energies and the darker densities are trying to contain and control. As individuals, we have been brought here to this time and place to witness this transition. In order to fully incorporate the fifth density energy and to be open to the rebirth, we must let go of the past. We must let go of fear, war, racism, murders, sadness. It no longer serves our well-being. It no longer serves Mother Earth. Together as a collective, if we work together within our being of just to be, rather to become, rather than to become that of a distraction, we will aid in the incorporation of the rebirth of Mother Gaia. Bring yourself to center. Clear your chakra energy points, starting from the bottom, working to the top, to access your past life, your Akashic records that are only for you, that no one can access without your energetic frequency. There has been claims that there are people that are accessing and reading your Akashic records, which is false. It is lies. No one has access to your Akashic records but you. And it is the journey of self-discovery and self-acknowledgement of you being a witness in this time, in this space. doing the work, releasing fear and trauma and pain is of the utmost importance for your evolution and the evolution of the planet. To rid the poisons from your life, to rid the pain and the suffering of your life will equally rid the planet of the same. Transmission complete. Hello, hello, hello. I find it very funny that a Native American is asking me to repent. That's hilarious. Native Americans don't believe in God. True Native Americans, they don't believe in God. They believe in the Creator. Native Americans are not Christian. I find it rather hilarious. Okay. I'm going to start the night off with a light worker's oracle. Just a little bit creepy. We have the fifth ray of intellectual knowledge. Okay, I'm going to read on that now. The fifth ray of intellectual knowledge has come to you as a spiritual gift. You are being given the ability to find information that you need, to understand systems that impact your life, and find clarity in any issue that has seemed unclear or overwhelming. You shall sort the truth from the lies and learn what you need to know. Archangel Raphael now assists you in integrating the blessings of the fifth ray. You are distilling a new truth. It might be the truth of discernment, where you realize the appearance of a person, group, or cause I'm not even lying, okay? I'm reading from the book here. You are distilling a new truth. It might be the truth of discernment, where you realize the appearance of a person, group, or cause is misleading, different to the inner reality. Discernment is incredibly important on the spiritual path, all the more so you can open up to work with energies, with teachers and teachings, and to sort out all issues in your life according to your spiritual principles. Discernment is not judgment, but it does allow you to make informed decisions based on frequency. When you choose to associate with people who are on a higher frequency, everyone benefits. If you choose to associate with people on a lower frequency than your own, you may feel your life moving more slowly, becoming harder than it needs to be. Discernment helps you to navigate through illusions and find the real gems. It helps you to step back from those who say they want to support you, but who actually just want to take and not give in return. The fifth ray helps you choose wisely and sever unhealthy connections. This ray also comes to you when there is more to something than meets the eye. You will be given the power to discover and understand the truth. Wait until the truth clicks inside you. Until then, keep looking deeper until you unravel the mystery. The fifth ray will help you to do so successfully. The challenge with the fifth ray is to remain open-minded as you find your clarity. Oh, really? Be willing to find more information if you need it. The right answers will come to you. Be willing to change your viewpoint in order to perceive the truth of the matter. If a system is working for you, that's great. If it needs to be changed, don't be afraid to go into the chaos of creativity and try different ways until you discover what will work better for you now. The fifth ray has a special connection to the worlds of science. Therefore, you are encouraged to be an observer in your life, to experiment with what does and does not work for you. You are invited to pursue any form of science that is of interest to you, whether this be learning nutritional science or quantum physics and the chemical composition of healing effects of essential oils, or researching meditation and healing. If these are not of interest to you, it could be simply the application of scientific mindset in your life. In that case, become methodical in areas that can benefit from systems, habits, and structures that replicate desired results. Apply this approach to your exercise regime, your meditation practices, and any other aspects of your lifestyle that maximizes your potential and supports your best possible life path. Your invocation. I now accept of my own free will the blessings and grace of the fifth ray of intellectual knowledge. I call upon the grace and the assistance of the universe and Archangel Raphael to help me discern truth and find the information and understanding that will enable me to feel peace and experience penetrating insight in my life. I am thankful for the gifts of intelligence and understanding that help me live my best life in service to love. May knowledge serve the liberation of all beings through unconditional love and divine mercy. Through our own free will, so be it. confirmation. Okay, Spirit. I didn't want to be reading my tablet all night, but okay. Apparently I'm starting off with a wild unknown. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on this soggy Saturday evening. I don't know where you are, but the weather was crap today. The riddle has joined the table. Okay. The vision. Really? Okay. The shadow, the heart, the medallion, agape, and anima mundi. Makes sense. Is that all? Okay. Okay, the selves, the shadow. I think that's it. I'm gonna look in the index first, just to see where it is. Come on. Okay, the shadow is the selves. Okay. The riddle is the tools. The vision is the tools. The heart is the tools. The places. Yeah, okay. The medallion is the tool. Agape is the initiation. And anima mundi is the initiation. Okay. Interesting. Alright, so right near the end, okay, and the heart is right at the top. Okay, and the medallion. Okay, so the riddle. I'm just organizing it here. The riddle, the medallion. Okay, so the vision and the medallion. Okay. And then agape and a Monday. Okay. I got it all organized. Let's get it. So that's near the end. Okay. Alright. So the shadow, the unspeakable, the unwelcome, and the denied. Although every card in the archetypes deck has a shadow potential, this card asks us to delve into the qualities of the shadow itself. We often think that the shadow can be purified, illuminated, and made right through the effort and achievement However, it is typically the case that our lofty pursuit of ascension and perfection is a very source of shadow material itself. By rejecting parts of ourselves and the world, we begin to separate from the whole. Rather than getting to know the qualities and content of our shadow, we busy ourselves with avoiding its presence. This is denial. When this card appears, it is time to take inventory of those things you've been denying. When the mind responds with no, anything but that, you are touching shadow. So find support for this deep inner work and move towards the shadow with patience and compassion. When in the light, it's revealing unconscious aspects of the self and the world. When in the dark, it's denying unconscious aspects of self and the world. In the shadow of the gods are the very gods themselves. Reflect on this statement by James Hillman in The Blue Fire. What do you despise about yourself? And by answering, you move towards the shadow. Contemplate the following scientific observation. The closer an object, a person, place, or community is to the light, the longer the shadow it casts. So it's about coming to balance with that what you're of inadequacy of. But recognizing you can't have light without the shadow. And even my name, Aiden, is representing of the god of fire. Okay, fire is my element. And then wolf is my totem. As well, shadow is of my shadow self. So it's bringing the balance of light and shadow together. It's not a haircut. My hair is all tied up, but you can't see that. I figured tonight's going to be a warm one, so I tied it back. So yeah, it's coming into balance with the shadow itself. And recognizing that the shadow can very well be used to protect you in a time of need. Which I think is very significant. Okay, so the heart. The home, the center, the throne. It is possible from an imaginal point of view to sense the heart as a place. Either we are there within the realm of expansion and compassion, or we have drifted somewhere else. There is no in-between. It is common for us to leave this archetypal center without realizing it. As the world, with its seductive twists and turns, offers us frequent departure, we may even become a stranger to the landscape of the heart, leaving it vacant for long stretches of time. The seat of the heart is often reclaimed by nature, by music, dance, and the presence of children or animals. This card encourages us to move past the layers of life's tangles and knots and enter the wild and sacred center of the self. The most precious throne in the galaxy is awaiting your return. In the light, it is representing expansive, knowing, gentle, and clarity. In the dark, it's fraught, it's tangled, it's betrayal. Recall the last time your heart was touched. Soak in every detail that you can. Feel the heart awaken. Some say there's a cave at the center of the heart. Others say it's a pool with a flowering white lotus. Imagine yourself there and draw what you see. The riddle. The puzzle, the question, the mystery. When the riddle is present, one must stop searching for the right answer. It cannot be found, and ultimately it is not important. Rather, there must be a shift from the literal to the metaphorical, from logic to mythic. You're thinking too small and too literally about the situation. The riddle card appears when the energy is deep and mysterious, like the elusive wisdom of Zen koan. Focusing harder won't do it. Neither will increased efforts. Time, surrender, and humor are your only allies. What feels like the most pressing dilemma won't reveal its deeper wisdom for a long time. Eventually you'll learn a profound lesson from the riddle. For now, get comfortable with the limitations of your intellect and the reality of not knowing. It may in fact be the only reality that there is. When in the light, a great awakening or an aha moment. When in the dark, it's manipulation, it's deceit, and it's trickery. So this is actually bringing the recognition and the realization of your shadow and of your heart and bringing them to balance. And the riddle between bringing that to balance is sometimes unsolvable due to your current environment. Okay? Who am I? The only way to work with a riddle successfully is to not work. Alright, the vision. The dream, the imagined, the revealed. So just as there was a riddle, there's also vision. And I do believe the current status quo is trying to remove the vision from our eyes to provide an illusion. It is said that we are each born with a unique vision, a destiny towards which we are aimed. It is also said that we forget this vision the moment that we are born. Thus we are sent on a lifelong journey of rediscovery, of remembering. Such is the elusive nature of the vision. It slips away, yet it guides. It appears in strange dreams and surreal images, seemingly unattainable and preposterous. When we are connected to the vision, we carry an inspired, enchanted aliveness that others recognize. We trust the world and its synchronicities. We walk through new doors with wondrous opportunities. We all want to be near those with vision. They emit energy more potent than any elixir. When we lose connection to the vision, life becomes dull and exhausting, lacking meaning, and bringing back the mystery. So bring back the dreams. When in the light, it's potent imagination, its synchronicity, and its trust. When in the dark, it's disconnected from art and dreams, listless and aimless. Look at art you loved when you were young. Listen to old records and poems. These are all ways to activate the vision. You can gauge how connected you are to your vision by how tired you are, since the vision feeds us energy. It affects our life force and vitality. The medallion. The amulet, the talisman, and the heirloom. The passing on of a sacred object is an ancient ritual within families, between lovers, and in tribes across the globe. We gift jewels, treasures, and keepsakes, and mementos of all kinds. Some of great material value, others that hold emotional resonance, and still others with both. Yet when these gifts are bestowed upon us, it is important to recognize that they may bind us to an unspoken agreement or promise. When the medallion card appears, Be aware of how the objects you hold dear may be embedded with unconscious energy or expectations. Materials hold consciousness, and it's time to reconcile the vibration of the objects around you. What do you covet and collect, and why? Is there an object that you have held on to for years that you are ready to release? Perhaps it is time to reach for the medallion that aligns with your deepest values. When in the light, upholding tradition, protecting and honoring. When in the dark, it's burdensome, inheritance and habituation. Do you believe that objects contain supernatural properties? When have you experienced this to be true? Imagine if you and your family, your school, or social group had a crest, emblem, or amulet. What would it be drawn, and how would it be drawn? What? What would it be and draw it? Okay. And agape. So the medallion, this is kind of giving me the Tomb Raider vibes. Yet again. Okay. Confirmation. Agape. Devotion, unconditional love. What if instead of putting yourself at the center of your spiritual practice, you put God, Goddess, or nature at the center? How would this change your approach? Such is the energy of agape. It is alive when we are in awe and wonder, our breath taken away by the sacred force that surrounds us and asks for nothing in return. This card can indicate a spiritual initiation that stretches your capacity to love and serve. You sense the earthly as the heavenly and vice versa. Such an initiatory moment can appear in any form, and, like a healing balm to the modern soul, its effects last a lifetime. The agape card may also suggest you reassess what you worship every day, consciously or unconsciously. What are you elevating? And where does the sacred ladder you climb ultimately lead to? When in the light, it's of service, of reverence, honor, and joy. When in the dark, it's spiritual bypassing and righteousness. The Greek word agape informs the English word agape. To have the mouth agape is to be awestruck by something of breathtaking delight. We are made humble once again. Agape can also be felt as an overwhelming love of family, partner, community. Recognize it by a deep swell of gratitude. Tribe strong. Anima Mundi. The soul of the world and all that is. Anima Mundi epitomizes the principal aspect of all. Let's try that again. Anima Mundi epitomizes the principle. Accept all. Reject none. Simply put, it is the living soul of the world in all its multifaceted, multidimensional layers, bonded together by loving cosmic forces. Diversity is celebrated, multiplicity is honored, and nothing is denied. Embrace constructs of separation, dissipate into the wonderful mess of shared consciousness. Anima Mundi is the link between the literal and the imaginal, the rational and the mythic. It is a connectional fiber that makes life meaningful. This card indicates an initiation on the level of the soul. You will awaken the unique light within and witness how this light contributes to the radiance of the entire universe. You will sense yourself as a critical note in the cosmic orchestra. Destiny is altered as you hear the enchanted melody of all living things. In the light, it's tending to the sacred details of life. When in the dark, it's overwhelmed by the bigness of existence. Anima Mundi is the energy behind the world card in the tarot deck. Both carry themes of universal unity, completeness, and embrace. The embrace of Anima Mundi is available anytime, anywhere, to anyone, day or night, rich or poor. It is a process of unveiling our resistance to its love. Every one of those cards, plus the Lightworker's Oracle, has been a confirmation of my channel, of my earlier channeling. Cheers, everybody. Welcome to the new earth. Her family's a liar, Chan. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm sorry, a warrior of such as herself would not do that. Had she been weak, she would have done it before she even spoke out. Spirit's saying there was gang stalking happening. She was under a lot of pressure. And I'm not necessarily saying that her family was particularly involved with it, but I have a feeling there's some sort of something going on with the situation. It's very fishy, very stinky. I'm not mentioning the name. It's very unfortunate. May she rest in peace. And Spirit's also saying that she's got other plans. She may be gone in the physical, but she's not dead. She is far from dead. So please rest your heart. She is where she needs to be. As odd as that sounds, she is no longer in any pain. She's no longer suffering. And I do believe that she very well could have been a chosen, and she has other work to do. So she's basically changed her energetic frequency in order to do that work without any interruptions. And I have a feeling that she is helping the transition of certain souls that are in need of her assistance. Okay. Am I starting with tarot? Okay, what am I starting with? Okay. The Voice of Souls. Like I stated in the beginning, life is not what it seems. We don't just come here to live our life and die. To think of that as the current status quo is a blasphemy to our evolution, of our soul, of our spirit, of who we are and who we choose to become. It would be an evidently stupid thing to just come here and live one life and die and never have anything else to do. Stupid. Stupid to think that way. To think we're lesser than. It's ignorant. Okay? And our body that we are a vessel in, right? a body that is our vessel, okay, matters not of any sort compared to the impact that we make within that body, okay? The value of a car or a truck or a vehicle, okay, is of no value, okay? A car is a car is a car is a car. A car has four wheels, a truck has four wheels. The difference between a car and a truck, the car can carry more people. The truck can carry more goods, right? So if that's the case, it's not what the vehicle actually is, it's what the vehicle can do. Just as we are as a human being. It's not the vehicle that we reside in, it's our overall impact that we will make in the world. And to think of us as insignificant is, it's a blasphemy, really. You know, and this goes back to the straight, the gay, and the trans. Okay? Trans people are so distracted by wanting to be who they are within their body, and they are so distracted by that, they are not focused on the impact that they can make within the world. They are so out of sorts with who they are, with the misunderstanding that they have to look as to how they feel. And this is the one thing I've never really wrapped my head around as to why, you know, I get it. I get it. I can understand why they would want to get a sex change. Okay? Because they want to feel good in their skin. They want to feel like they are within their skin. They want to feel balanced within themselves. Right? And then no comparison, but I compare myself to, like, let's say a trans person, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm very much a masculine, okay? I have a masculine outer shell. However, I'm very much in touch with my feminine. And I find that there's a balance between that, masculine and feminine energy. It helps me to be more compassionate. It helps me to be more loving and kind and understanding and empathetic. Just as much as I am very much a person that likes to get things done, and I like to do things a certain way, and I like to have control over my life, and to protect myself, and to protect those that I love, and to provide. I'm very much balanced in those energies. Does that make me trans? No. I'm a man with feminine balance. Okay? That's the way I look at it. When I look at a relationship or who I might be interested in. I've dated women, I've dated men. Is there a difference? No, there's really no difference other than the body parts. And I found that I'm more prone to a connection than I am anything else. So the connection that I have with another person means more to me than what they look like on the outside. Okay? So this is the whole aspect of being in balance with who you are. You don't have to be the same way I am. I'm not expecting you to emulate me. I'm not expecting you to be in balance with your feminine if you're a masculine, or vice versa. And I'm not expecting you to be gay or straight or bi or trans or anything like that. You are who you are. But to embrace who you are as you are is the trick. That's the secret. Some people are very, very much a woman in a man's body. But this gives you that aspect of being balanced within that masculine and feminine energy. It gives you the upper hand within the understanding of the world. And trans people should be more respected than what they are. And it's bringing me back to that poem, which I'm going to recite that poem because I think it's very predominant right now. The poem is called First They Came. First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a socialist. Okay, there's a longer version. Hold that thought. First they came for the communist, and I did not speak out, because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialist, and I did not speak out, because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I did not speak out, because I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out, because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but a dude named Martin was a German Lutheran pastor, a theologian born in Lippstadt, Germany in 1892. He was an anti-communist and supported Adolf Hitler's rise to power. But when Hitler rose to power and insisted on the supremacy of the state over religion, he became delusioned. He became the leader of a group of German clergymen opposed to Hitler. In 1937, he was arrested and eventually confined in Schachwez, wherever, and Dachau. He was released in 1945 by the Allies. He continued his career in Germany as a cleric and as a leading voice of penitence and reconciliation for the German people after World War II. The people who were put in the camps then were communists who cared about them. We knew it, and it was printed in the newspapers who raised their voice. Maybe the confessioning church. We thought communists, those opponents of religion whose enemies are of Christians. Should I be my brother's keeper? Then they got rid of the sick, so-called incurables. I remember a conversation I had with a person who claimed to be a Christian. He said, perhaps it's right. These incurable sick people just cost the state money. They are just a burden to themselves and others. Isn't it best for all concerned if they are taken out of the middle of society? Only then did the church as such take note. Then we started talking until our voices were again silenced in public. Can we say we weren't guilty or responsible? The persecution of the Jews, the way we treated the occupied countries of the things in Greece, in Poland, and Czechoslovakia, well, I can't even say it, or in Holland, that were written in the newspapers, I believe we confessing church Christians have every reason to say, mea culpa. Mea culpa. We can talk ourselves out of it with the excuse that it would have cost me my head if I had spoken out. We preferred to keep silent. We were certainly not without default, and I asked myself again and again, what would have happened if in the year 1933 or 1934? There must have been a possibility. 14,000 Protestant pastors and all the Protestant communities in Germany had defended the truth until their death. If we had said back then, it is not right, when Hermann Göring simply put 100,000 communists in the concentration camps in order to let them die, I can imagine that perhaps 30,000 to 40,000 Protestant Christians would have had their heads cut off. But I can also imagine that we would have rescued 30 to 40 million people, because that is what it is costing us now. The speech was translated and published in English in 1947, but was later retracted when it was alleged that Niemöller, the Martin dude, I think, was an early supporter of the Nazis. The communist socialist schools, Jews, the press, and the church are named in the 1955 version of Niemöller's speech that was cited in an interview with a German professor who quoted a representative in America made a similar speech in 1968, omitting communists, but including industrialists, who were once only targeted by the Nazis of an individual basis. He also was quoted of having used many versions of the text during his career, but evidence identified by Professor Harold Marcuse at the University of California, Santa Barbara, indicates that the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum version is inaccurate because frequently used the word communist and not socialist. The substitution of socialist for communist is an effective of anti-communism, and the most common in the version that had proliferated in the United States, according to Marcuse. His original argument was premised on the naming of groups he had in his audience would instinctively not care about. The omission of communists in Washington and the Jews in Germany distorted that meaning and should be corrected. In 1976, he gave the following answer in response to an interview asking him about the origins of the poem, and considers the classical version of the speech. There were no minutes or copy of what I said, and it may be that I formulated it differently, but the idea was somehow the communists, we still let that happen calmly, and the trade unions, we also let that happen, and we even let the social democrats happen. All of that was not our affair. Like many Protestant pastors, he was a national conservative and openly supported the conservative opponents of the Weimar Republic. Thus he welcomed Hitler's accession to power in 1933, believing that it would bring in a national revival. By the autumn of 1934, he joined other Lutheran Protestant churchmen such as Karl Barth and Dietrich in founding the Confessional Church, a Protestant group that opposed the Nazification of German Protestant churches. Still in 1935, he made a provocative remarks about Jews while protecting those of Jewish descent who had been baptized in his own church, but were persecuted by the Nazis due to their radical origin. In a sermon in 1935, he once said, "What is the reason for their obvious punishment, which had lasted for thousands of years? Dear brethren, the reason is easily given. The Jews brought the Christ of God to the cross." In 1936, however, he decidedly opposed the Nazis, and he signed a petition of a group of Protestant churchmen which sharply criticized Nazi policies and declared the Aryan paragraph incompatible with the Christian virtue of charity. The Nazi regime responded with mass arrests and charges against almost 800 pastors and celestial lawyers. After his imprisonment, he volunteered to act as a U-boat commander, reprising his role in World War I, but this offer was rejected by the Nazi authorities. At the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C., the quotation is predominantly featured on a wall as the final display of the museum's permanent exhibition, and the museum website is a discussion of the history of the quotation. The version of the poem is displayed at the Holocaust Memorial, Yad Vashem in Jerusalem. The poem is also represented at the Virginia Holocaust Museum in Richmond, Virginia, the New England Holocaust Memorial in Boston, Massachusetts, and Florida Holocaust Museum in St. Petersburg, Florida, and the Illinois Holocaust Museum and Education Center in Skokie, Illinois. And then they came for me. So, And Then They Came for Me is a play by American author James Still. It is a multimedia production which combines tapes and interviews with Anne Frank's friends who survived the Holocaust. Ed Silverberg, formerly Helmuth Hello, and Eva Gregor Schalis, with live actors recreating the scenes from their lives. It is part oral history, part drama, part remembrance, and is ensemble-driven. The title refers to the famous 1946 poem, First They Came, by Pastor Martin Niemöller. History is effectively repeating itself. And this is all found on Wikipedia, by the way. This is not of my own writing. Okay? I'm not taking no credit for this. But I've been called to speak on it. History is ineffective of repeating itself. And it's being brought about due to misunderstanding and a misrepresentation of who we are as human beings. And unless we make our individual choice to stand, we will not be heard. And we will be forgotten. Where do I go from here, Spirit? Okay. Back to the voice of souls. Message of peace and spiritual message on the cut. You If we do not learn from history, if we do not recognize history, there's an inevitability of it repeating itself over and over and over again. And just as we are old souls, most of us, we've been brought to this time and place to remember our past lives, to remember why we are here, and to remember what we were made of. We were ultimately made by stardust, that what is of the hourglass of time. And just as the sands of time rest in the bottom of the hourglass, there are times where that hourglass is lifted and turned upside down to flow again once more. And as we live, and as we experience that falling to our resting spot, it is inevitable for it to repeat itself indefinitely. Where do we rest as a grain of sand? What impact do we make while we are falling into our place, our rightful place? What impact do we make? Does our impact create a tower of sand? Or is it being leveled out by the earthquakes of energetic frequency and the changing and the rumbling of time? What is the impact that we are making on an individual basis to create the life and experience that we have today? Do we actually have a right to complain when we choose to continue to keep this monster of a machine still running and to keep the wheels turning? Do we have a right to blame, to point the finger at other people that we do not understand? Do we even understand ourselves, of our true essence of who we are and why we are here? Or do we choose to forget, choose to put on a rose-colored glasses and sweep that what no longer serves us under the rug as if it's nothing, as if it's just a joke, as if it's just a stage, just a game? As history starts to repeat itself, it comes to an epiphany and a realization that it's not a game, and it is very real. I'm also being told by Spirit that our overall anger is our inner child with their inability to be heard, with their inability to be seen. Our inner child has been left to be forgotten. And yet we walk around with bitterness and with evil in our hearts. And we wonder why our lives just choose to not change. It's that aha moment, Anima Mundi. It's the medallion of the found treasures that have always been within you, that you failed to look to until the end of your life. When you face your judgment, when you face your debriefing, when you face your time of reflection and what you learned in this lifetime, did you complete your soul contract that you signed up for? Did you remember what that soul contract was? And did you fulfill that contract? A lot of us don't even get a chance to remember because we are constantly distracted and bombarded by the disillusioned bullshit in our reality. We're overridden by fear and sadness, fighting for our lives. For what? How can we remember who we are if we're constantly trying to survive? These are the illusions of our time right now. And this is why it's evidently important to take time out for yourself and remember. No longer repressing that what is within us. The hate that is ensuing our world. And the misrepresented spiritual message of our time. If we do not emerge out of this by learning the lesson, if we choose to continue to block out the pain and the suffering and not learn from it, it will be our demise. This is how evidently important it is to step into your power and to remember. History was not supposed to be repeated. History was supposed to be learned from. And as nations of the world, we've totally missed the mark. I mean, it's 2025 and we're still talking about war. Over 60 to 80% of our overall national income within each nation is spent on government and spent on military and spent on warheads and nuclear weapons and a whole bunch of other shit. If we weren't so guarded and we weren't so predominantly distracted by trying to take control of other nations and we focused on our own nations, all that money that we put into the wars could very well reach every corner of the earth. We could have houses built. We could be creating an organic way of life. We wouldn't have to get into genetically modified in order to have some sort of a food basis. To allow mad science into our agricultural aspects, to where now the farmers are picketing and protesting because these particular groups are trying to infiltrate our food supply. our water supply, the ability to nourish ourselves. And now they're trying to enter in mad science into that to reduce the population. All out of selfishness and greed under the guise of saving the earth. This is the delusion that we are dealing with. What started as guns and brigades and bombs and war has now turned into a biological warfare. And now it's turning into agricultural warfare and weather manipulation. All of this was not a thing back in the old world. Any world before us, whether it be in the time of fire, within the time of the water, within the time of the air, within the time of the earth, we had never had this particular situation. We were always working within the balance of nature. And now we are about to be cleansed by the element of spirit, of our true essence of our soul, of our true essence of who we are. And this is why it's so predominantly important that we remember who we are, where we came from, and why we are here. We are here to flip the table over. We are here to make a difference. We are here to get back to nature. We are here to bring a balance with Mother Earth. But not in the way that they choose to project it to the world, through population control and a dumbing down of our societies. The history of our worlds was to be learned so it was not to be repeated. And yet here we are. It's repeating itself over and over and over again. I'm not sitting here trying to instill fear in your heart. I'm trying to get you to remember why it is so important that you stand up individually for yourself as well as your community. Our lives depend on it. Each on an individual basis as well as a collective, as a world collective. Without our newfound understanding, without the learning of history, it will repeat itself. When you feel yourself to be so insignificant that you have no way of making a difference, just your simple understanding of what needs to happen and what needs to be done, and you do not act. I'm only one person. What can I do to change things? This is exactly what they want you to see. This is exactly what they want you to feel. This is exactly what they want you to be. They want you to be helpless. And this is why it's so predominantly important to heal the inside. Trauma, pain, and hate that you have. Because once you are able to remove that and get that out of the way, you have an amazing ability to balance out, go within, and find the answers that you seek. But when you are bombarded and when you are distracted by your outer world, that is where they gain the power over you. That is where they instill this helplessness. And until you wake up and open those pretty eyes, it will have no other choice but to be your demise. So what's it going to be, collective? The year 2029 is to be a year of tremendous pain. We have 5 years to make it or break it. We have 4 years before we can no longer learn the lesson. We have less than 3 years to remove the hate. The year 2022 was the year and release of our oppression and repression. 2022 was the release of that repression. It was the opening of the mind, officially, of the evidence that we have before us within our reality to show what is needing to be done. The year 2030 does not exist. The year 2030 is yet to be. And unless we choose to stand up as nations across the world and act out of love and respect for the humanity within equality, I hate to say this, this is a prediction, but as much as they have a plan for the 2030 agenda, as much as Schwab was taken out of context and demoted, they have just as an evil entity working into his place. That was a simple distraction. If we can't stop playing like a bunch of fucking school kids in the playground and start working together instead of dividing, we will not know peace. We will not see peace. And as much as the old system needs to die out in order for a new system to be, the current status quo of that system is blasphemy. It's a disgusting disintegration of the human race. And as nations, as a collective nations of the world, of this planet, we need to go back to the drawing board. We need to equalize within equality of the many different nations of the world, and we need to learn from our mistakes. We need to learn from our history rather than repeat it. We need an automatic ceasefire worldwide. We are done with war of all kinds, of all measures, and we must bring peace within our nations. It is the only way. The only way that we will see peace in this world is if we become it on an individual basis and as a collective. It is literally the only way. What are we not, what are we failing to learn as a collective? We are failing to see the truth of justice. As far as the physical pain of 2029, what is the situation behind that? The inability to be compassionate, to be emotionally draining, to be emotionally manipulative. The inability to find balance. Within the next 5 years, what is happening soon? The strategy of being selfish, of unrest, and the death 5 years from now, before the death of our nations, allowing history to repeat itself, knowing that we deserve better, after taking stock of everything that we've done to work towards something beautiful, something to strive towards, and it all goes to shit. Allowing our pleasures to lead the way is not the way. To be sacred within our intention is the only way. To bring the sacredness and the specialness back to the planet. The divine intention, divine transformation. Allowing our passions and our overall intentions lighting the way through the darkness, to remove the hate, the greed, the pain and suffering from the planet. We have to change our intentions on a worldly basis, and we have 3 years or less to do that, to remove the hate and the division before it's too late. There's been a very deceptive spiritual message going out among the populace of each nation to bring about control and deception. And that's been happening for 41 years. I asked the AI Google what happened 41 years ago that changed the course of spirituality for the worst. And this is what it says. It's difficult to pinpoint one single event 41 years ago in 83 that dramatically changed the course of spirituality for the worst in a universal sense. However, the late 20th century saw a decline in organized religion, particularly in the West, and this trend could be seen as a negative shift for some. Additionally, the rise of secularism and humanism also challenged traditional spiritual beliefs. Here's more nuanced perspective. A decline in organized religion. From the late 20th century onwards, there's been a noticeable decline in church attendance and membership in many countries, particularly in the West. This has led to a decreased emphasis on traditional religious institutions and practices. The rise of secularism and humanism. The emphasis on secular and humanism and the belief in reason and science over religious dogma has grown significantly, challenging traditional spiritual beliefs and ways of understanding the world. Increased emphasis on personal spirituality. While traditional religious affirmation has declined, there's been an increase in interest in personal spirituality and self-discovery, with people exploring various spiritual practices and beliefs outside of traditional institutions. It's also important to note that the term "for the worst" is subjective. While the decline in traditional religion and the rise of secularism might be seen as negative by some, others might view it as a positive shift towards more individual and less institutionalized spirituality. Hmm. Is there anything else we need to know about this reading? The inability to make a decision based on the information that is bestowed upon us. The inability to move forward and evolve as a collective. The inability to allow our passions and our overall intention to guide us. To having to play this guessing game. An opening of old wounds of uncertainty. Of having to make decisions without the facts, without the knowledge, without the ability to see out in front of you. To have to deal with deception, to have to deal with societal pressures, an opening up of old wounds, of pain, of suffering, on a constant, repetitious basis. We need to get back to basics within ourselves, within our soul essence of who we are, within our spirit. Dismiss all the dogma, everything that we've been told, and remember who we are within ourselves. The current worldly dogmas are perspectives from a time before us, from a time where we couldn't wrap our head around certain situations. We've evolved since then. To recognize us as the spiritual beings that we are, and to step into that in order to finally move forward, to rise, to shine our light, to move forward with our intention and our intuition. Despite the deception, despite the pain coming back to haunt us, to be able to make a decision that is for our best intention. To be able to speak up. To no longer be divided. To bring about an overall universal understanding to who we are and change the course of history. It's not about whether or not one nation is better than the other. It's about whether or not we can work together. It's whether or not we can look past our differences. And not only be courageous, but humble at the same time. Look up Super Mario breaking bricks since 1983. T-shirt. Angels, what do you got for us? What do you got for the collective reading tonight? Is there anything you gotta add into the mix here? Take time to breathe and do the right thing. Downloads of intuition. Karmic debts are paid, and you are not alone. You stand together with the collective. Call your power back. Be the change that you seek. And again, call your power back. You are ascending. You are far from alone. We are ascending as an earth. Your desires are not unholy. Speak for yourself, Angel. Do the right thing for the energetic shifts to happen. Learning in the happening. Again, karmic debts are paid. Healing is not linear. Go beneath the surface for opportunities of growth. Surrender and release the past. Create your own story. And healing of the heart. Thank you, angels. Sacred Feminine, what do we have for my collective? You're only feeling alone because you are codependent. You are not whole. That is the only reason why you feel alone. because you feel that there's something missing. There's an empty void within you that you are failing to fill yourself. And what is missing is the forgiveness, is the love, is the integrity and self-respect and forgiveness that you failed to give yourself for all the pain and all the suffering that you've suffered. The inability to see yourself in your true essence of who you are is your biggest issue. You are downplaying your abilities. So what? I've walked away from pretty well 98% of my family. Why? Because they showed me who they were. It was their loss and your gain. Because I have never been so at peace with myself and my life since then. Trying to pretzel yourself into their expectations of what they wanted you to be. It's idiocy. It's idiocy. To try to pretzel yourself into something else that you're not. I'm shuffling in the karmic deck. Where am I reading from? Put your votes in now. Four people in the chat. Let's go for 20 votes. Maintain your peace. Keep moving forward. Put your votes in, everybody. Stay grounded. Choose your peace. So some of you are having a hard time staying grounded and you're not choosing your peace. You're being distracted by the chaos that's around you. Come on, let's get 20 votes. We got 14. We need 6 more votes. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Peanut gallery, gossip queen, gossip king. So some sort of gossip is being thrown away. It's either that or some gossip queen or gossip king. They're getting their karma. They might off themselves because of the bullshit mess that they've made. That's just a feeling I'm getting. I'm not wishing it on anyone. I'm also getting that they're extremely scared and petrified of the karma that they're about to receive. And it's like giving me the purgatory card, so they'd rather off themselves and live an existence within purgatory than deal with the consequences. But they're going to deal with the consequences anyway. Shenanigans this way comes. They're going to try it. Sitting on the dock, let it float to the top. So it's time to heal. Allow what surfaces to the top and screaming at you in your face. Deal with that first. Flipping tables, stomping fables. Divinely guided, guarded, and protected. Collective. Alright, I'll stick it at 15 votes. We're getting from the middle. Alright, this may resonate, may not resonate. Take what leaves. Take what does, leave what doesn't. Okay? So, somebody's committed to making you look bad and they're trying to hide it. So they're doing this behind your back. Somebody doesn't want to burn a bridge, but you burned a bridge anyway, right? The Hermit very well could be dealing with a Virgo. You could be a starseed. Return to sender, sending them on a bender, spiraling. So some sort of return of sender backfired on somebody. I get the feeling that somebody tried to do some magic on you. You did a return to sender, and then they did a return to sender to the return to sender, and it doesn't work that way. Open-minded hippie. The fact that you made it to this point in this moment says something. So what if there is something deeper to all of this? And that's why you matter. If nothing else, you've lived and survived. So keep going. Somebody's hiding at the fact that they cheated you. Somebody really needs to apologize to you. And it was due to their insignificance in your life that created the drama. Can't compete where they don't compare. They were trying to compete with you. I'm also getting that they were trying to compete with you because they thought you were competing with them, and you don't play games. So, and ultimately they were competing with themselves because it was hidden. So it was done behind your back. So you didn't even realize you were playing a game you didn't even know you were playing. And again, behind your back, somebody's trying to be a poser. They're not playing in your face. They're playing behind your back, throwing rocks and hiding their hands, quite possibly. You could be dealing with a Virgo. Wrong one to mess with. You might have had this hidden about yourself, and they're checking themselves. Somebody that's very particular with quality. You practice quality over quantity. They're trying to hide the fact that they're throwing rocks and hiding their hands, and they're denying it. So they might have been reported, and now they're denying it. Now they're lying. I'm thinking they're lying to authorities. And this is making them very, very paranoid. Yeah. Passed on karmic. Thought that by ending it would remove accountability. Purgatory bound. Quite possibly a cancer. This particular person you're fructose intolerant to. The inability to tolerate other people's bullshit. So you're not tolerating their bullshit anymore. It could be a Taurus. Mr. Destructo, supervillain. You could be an Aries. You could have been dealing with a love bombing bouncer. So they'll come in and love bomb you, then ghost you. Playing around as if they were divine, but they're actually karmic. You could be a chosen one. You could have toxic traits due to a toxic family, or you could be dealing with someone of that nature. Hidden in plain sight, still bright as ever, keep shining. I think you were exposed for who you are, and some people are shook. Lurkin gherkin, the sweet and sour pickle. This person hates to love you and loves to hate you. They're jealous, they're envious of your situation, and they're sour. 1 minute they're sour, the next minute they're sweet to you. The next minute they're sour, the next minute they're sweet to you. And they're stalking you. They're stalking your social media. They could be stalking your phone. They could be stalking your life, trying to get information on you. Yeah. Stop for just a moment. Be in the stillness. Close your eyes and breathe. Go back to your heart space. Take a spiritual bath. Your life is too fucking busy. Slow the fuck down. Drunk as a skunk, masking their feelings with alcohol. Okay? And they're hiding it. Okay? So you could have had somebody that was an alcoholic. They could be counting their days of sobriety. But no. They might have said, oh yeah, I'm 337 days sober. No, they're not. They're just trying to get attention. They're projecting onto you. They're projecting shit-ass energy, very toxic energy. Hitting a brick wall coming for you. They're getting their karma. Leo in the reverse, a very karmic individual. Carrying Karen. They act all concerned about your well-being, but in behind the scenes, they're a fucking asshole. Trying to wreak havoc on your life. They need to fuck off and stay in their own lane, is what they need to do. Mind their fucking business. Somebody's masks trying to ruin your possibilities of growth. They don't want you established. They don't want you to get settled. They don't want you having any possibilities. But you're going to get them anyway, collective. You're no longer trapped, and you're getting an apology. Somebody was very arrogant. They're getting their karma. You are finding harmony after being trapped, after being stuck with no options. Okay? You are finding balance, you're finding peace and happiness. So stay the course. Continue doing your healing. Step into your power. Call your fucking power back. Cut the cords that you need to cut. Take control of your life. You are the authority of your life. So step into that. You might be nurturing, you might be a mentor, you might be giving back some sort of wisdom to the world. Keep going. Take your soapbox and authority in that. You've learned lessons, so bless the world with those lessons. You're coming out of your shell. You're coming out of a time of feeling left out. You're no longer getting or giving the silent treatment, and you're no longer in your feelings. You're releasing it. That what no longer serves you. You're cutting ties. You're gaining freedom. You're standing up and you're awakening to the true ability of who you are. People are confused at how you're finding peace and harmony. Okay, somebody wants to come out of separation with you, but they're puzzled because they see you in this uncontrollable kind of energy. So they're trying to manipulate you. They can't. Okay? They see that you're no longer broken. You're no longer shattered. You're no longer hurting. And you've released this clingy-ass, old, dead-end relationship. Right? They want to come out of this place where you burn bridges, and they're wanting a second chance, but there is no second chance. And by having a second chance, they want to retrap you. Okay? They want you suffering in silence, collective. They don't want you having real feelings. They want to break your dreams. They want they don't want you to speak your desires. Okay? Spirit's asking you to slow the fuck down and take some time out for you. Okay? Because there's a lot of chaos and disaster. Okay? Somebody's trying to emphasize your downfall without reflecting on what they're doing. And this is something to do with family. Okay? Some family members want you to unblock them. So that way they can try to get back into your energy because they envy you. They're very resentful. They're very much in competition. They're very much in a discontent with you. They know you're not playing games. You're not gambling your life away. You're no longer laughing, and they're no longer happy. Okay? Because you're no longer in isolation. You're coming out of that. They tried to put you in an isolation, but it didn't work. You're no longer running. You're no longer stagnant or stuck. And you're no longer cautious or insecure or guarded either. You've dropped the paranoia. You're healing, and you're putting yourself in the energy of receiving a soulmate union. Okay? They very well could be sending someone close to you as a soulmate, twin flame. But this person is to ruin your new opportunities and new career. They don't want you having any successful business. They do not want you glowing up. Okay? And they're coming in. At first, they were a dirty little secret. They wanted just a sex fix. They wanted it in the down low. But now they're coming in a divine soulmate energy. Don't believe it. You basically demasked this person. Archangel Michael helped you. And the gossip, the rumors, the bullshit, the so-called tea that they're spilling is all lies. Okay, so you have Archangel Michael protecting you at this time, preventing any type of harm. People are going to be receiving very, very bad consequences for the bad choices they made and the games they were playing and the mixed signals with you. Okay, and somebody's longing to be back with you, missing you. Let's talk. Let's have a reunion. There's no emotion there. You're no longer worried. You're no longer in fear. Because you know that they weren't established, they weren't wealthy, they were not secure, they were not settled, and they don't want you to be in that energy. They want you looking back in the past, and they want to reconnect these continuous cycles and bad decisions and get you hooked up on some sort of an addiction, and you've released it. So continue healing. You've ripped the fucking mask off of these karmics, And they have no other choice in order to get back into your energy to come back in and apologize for their arrogant rashness and insincerity. Okay? So these third parties that were paid off to come into your energy, they're learning lessons currently. They're receiving karma. Okay? Where they felt, where they wanted you to feel hopeless and at a loss and depressed and suicidal and just end it all. Uh, it's the tables are turned. Okay, you're no longer burnt out. You're no longer burdened, and you're no longer feeling empty as you were. Okay, so ultimately, collective, stay true to yourself. The people that have been cut out of your life have been cut out for a particular reason. It's a bloody fucking shame that people gotta be so damn vindictive, trying to take you out. But they really don't know who the fuck they're messing with. Call your fucking power back, cut the cords, stand in your power. The way it was always meant to be. Let's do a quick 5-stack. What else do we need to know, Spirit, to close out the night? I'm going to be ending the live at 1 a.m. So that's less than 20 minutes, less than 15 minutes. What's the collective need to know in a quick 5-stack, Spirit? What does the collective need to know? So we have love, choice, trust, the moon reversed, the emperor, the 8 of shells reversed, and the Knight of feathers. So somebody's taking action. Somebody's coming forward. Somebody can't let go of you. Somebody can't release you. Somebody wants to take some sort of focused action and bring stability. This could be you or another person. Things are going to be revealed. Some things in the dark are going to become a reality. Some things are going to, somebody's showing up with some sort of love, okay? Now, with the love, the choice, the trust, this could very well be a Gemini. Doesn't really have to be. Could be a Cancer, Pisces as well. It could very well be there is going to be love revealed to an emperor. Somebody cannot let go of you. And they're coming forward. They're taking fast action to come forward. We have the Queen of Feathers on the bottom of the deck, so you need to nurture the truth that is you. Going forward, collective. We have the Queen of Acorns. We have the 3 of Crystals. We have the 3 of Shells and the 8 of Crystals. So there's definitely some sort of passion, creativity. There's definitely some sort of collaboration coming in. There's also playfulness and a celebration, as well as dedication and progress. You're very talented, whoever I'm speaking to. You have a lot on your plate right now. You're working with a lot. But there's definitely some sort of huge collaboration of celebration, love, admiration, as well as something to do with a new foundation and quite possibly a new business, okay? New prosperity aspects, okay? However, there's a lack of self-empowerment and ambition coming from this particular individual due to the fact that they are needing to reconcile something and create some sort of stability where there was injustice, okay? And the 2 of Feathers, the Queen of Crystals. So there was some sort of a misunderstanding. Somebody wasn't able to make a decision regarding you or something, and there's definitely some sort of new nurturing of a foundation. Somebody's revealing and realizing the injustice And there's a recalibration, a re-looking, a rehashing, a, a new perspective, a new look at a particular certain situation, okay? Whatever that might be. I get the feeling that there was some sort of injustice and somebody got the wrong idea, okay? Now we have the Seven of Feathers, so this is definitely a resourcefulness. This is a very sneaky, this is a very analyzed, a very, shall we say, analytical, very strategic kind of energy coming forward. There's a lot of strategy. So there could be very well some sneakiness, but there's definitely some sort of offer of strength and of stability coming forward. There's new ideas, there's new disciplines, there's new courage and endurance happening with this. There's going to be a balance as well. However, there's something of a failed action being taken. Nine of Feathers, there needs to be a change of perspective as well as self-empowerment. Okay, we're talking about some major courageous healing within. Something about a Two of Acorns. It's about a new direction. It's the crossroads. It's stepping into a new paradigm, a new timeline. It's about moving in a new direction, a new partnership, as well as moving forward with some sort of stability. The tortoise and the hare, okay? Quality over quantity. It's not something to be rushed. It's something to be sought through, used with solid intention, okay? And there's going to be some sort of a revealing of blessings, of joy, of vitality. The wheel is definitely in your favor. There's going to be a new beginning. There's definitely some sort of confidence, a new way of looking at it. Could very well be an awakening. And I do see that there very well could be some sort of somebody wants you to miss out on that, though, which doesn't make any sense to me. Somebody's opening up old wounds. They're very jealous. They're envious. They're trying to create chaos. And they're talking shit. Okay? Three of Feathers reversed. The Shaman reversed. It's time to come out of your comfort zone. It's time to come out of your shadow. It's a releasing of past betrayals. And there's definitely some fast-moving energy after you release that once and for all. You're learning on how to look at love in a different perspective. With this, there's going to be a major awakening for you. A lot of truth is coming forward. You are gone through the worst of it. The best is yet to come. And although you may be juggling quite a bit right now, use your intuition to move forward and allow your intuition to inspire you. It will not fail you, collective. Okay? And this is why it's so predominantly important that you balance out your inner energy in your inner world, because that is what is your map. When you go to your glove box and you get your crumpled up ball of a map from your glove box, thinking that you're going to get somewhere with that. Think about that for a second. You need to iron that bitch out and fold it up right in order to see the map the way that it's supposed to be seen. Okay? All the crinkled, all the bullshit, all the distraction, all the inadequacies of what and how and where and why, it means nothing. It's all trivial to the current moment. Okay? So stay in your power, cut the cords that no longer serve you, okay? And courageous healing is definitely important. If you'd like a personal reading, you can reach out to the Hipsy link on the profile here, as well as the description box. It will show you the link there as well. You can become a member. There's going to be a members. I might switch up or might add in a members reading club kind of scenario. I've been kind of inspired by Linda Likes Tarot and how she kind of worked it. I'm not taking what she's doing. I have many different levels for each reading that you have available, that you can donate to me on a monthly basis to support the channel on a monthly basis at a certain interval level. But I'm going to be looking at maybe doing a readings night, maybe once a week coming up, maybe starting in May, who knows, to provide you with an ability to get a personal reading from me as a member of my YouTube. If you'd like a personal reading outside of YouTube, you can do so through Hipsy. Okay, there are a couple selections there, as well as I believe there's a coaching session available. This is also available. I also offer one-on-ones, so if you'd like a one-on-one session with me, you can definitely reach out in the comments, and we can work out with that, okay? Any donations, any super chats, super thanks, super stickers are greatly appreciated. So thank you in advance, and thank you for previous donations on that. I very much appreciate my tribe, and I appreciate the support, and I thank you from the bottom of my soul for that. Okay, this is my only income, so you're literally helping me by helping you. Okay, it's a win-win. So I do appreciate all the monetary support. It does not go unnoticed. I love you all so much. Okay, and this is why I'm here, to provide some sort of enlightenment, to provide some sort of perspective, empowerment, perspective change, a way of looking at life with new eyes, to finding out clarity and closure to your current situations. That's what it's all about. So I want to say thank you to my members, my mods, my supporters, my subscribers. You make life worth it. You make it totally worth it. That's why I keep coming back. Okay? So let's get you a dragon card before we head out. One, two, or three. I'm going to pick from the top, the bottom, and the middle. So if you pick the top, you got the earth and water dragon. Creates the foundations of a new growth. A fresh start is coming with new opportunities, so nurture your ideas and harvest the abundance. The bottom card, Alpha Dragon, harnesses the divine masculine power of creation. And the middle one, Source Dragon, attunes you to the infinite. Be still in the silence. Magic can happen, so be in the moment. So that will conclude your reading tonight, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Please be generous and give back through super thanks, super stickers, super chat if this resonates with you. It's all graciously accepted. If not, become a member on a monthly basis and help me survive and help me help you. I love you all. Have a great evening. Until next time, if you can't be good at it, please at least be good to yourself. So that way, you can be good to others. And I'll catch you in the next video.